In this series, we're going to be looking at ballet vocabulary, and in particular, we'll be looking at RAD terminology. RAD is the Royal Academy of Dance. It's a very popular syllabus. I have a lot of students who follow it, and so we're going to be taking words from their dictionary and breaking them down and giving you a rough demonstration of how they look. In today's video, we're going to be looking at terminology starting with the letter A. I won't be including every single word in the ballet dictionary because some words do get repetitive, but I'll make sure that I include any word that feels helpful. I have included a link below to this book, but not because it's an affiliate link, it's just in case you want one yourself to be able to follow along. So we're going to be starting off with the term à deux bras. Now I must say this word isn't actually used that frequently, but it might be helpful for you to know it in the back of your head in case you do ever come across it. It basically refers to fifth position. So if you follow RAD, we will just call it fifth position. We won't call it another name. However, if you follow another syllabus like Piqué, you might refer to this as fifth en haut. If you followed the French method like I did, you will refer to it as en couronne, meaning in the shape of a crown. And if you follow Vaganova, you'll call this third position. Next we have à la seconde, which refers to the leg pointing to the side of the body. This doesn't refer to second position because that would mean both legs or feet would need to do the same thing out to the side. So that could be in a plie, it could be straight, it could be on demi-point, but they need to be the same. À la seconde is purely with a pointed foot, and this could be on the ground or in the air. À terre is next, and this just means on the ground. So typically this will refer to an extension of the leg where the foot is pointed down to the floor. Adage. Adage refers to a coordinated combination of slow movements of the head, arms and legs usually, and sometimes it will involve extensions of the legs too. It's a very graceful exercise and can be done at the bar and in the center. Allegro refers to quick movements, so they are faster than allegretto but slower than presto. So this is basically your jumps, and you have three different categories of jumps. You have your petit allegro, small jumps, medium allegro, medium jumps, and grande allegro, your big jumps. So for example, your petit jetés might come under petit allegro, your assemblés or maybe a pas de chat might come under medium allegro, whereas your grand jetés or entrelacés might come under grande allegro. Allongé in French means to lengthen or extend. So this could, for example, refer to the arms. We could take the arms out to the side and you'll notice this is a lengthened position. You could even have an arabesque allongé. So instead of a boxier shape, you'll lengthen and reach the fingertips away from each other. Arabesque. So an arabesque is when we have one leg pointed behind us, the supporting leg turned out, and then the arms will depend on what kind of arabesque it is. If it's first arabesque, the same arm as the supporting leg will reach front, the other arm will reach to the side on a diagonal. If it's second arabesque, you'll have the opposite arm front. Or third arabesque, you'll have a sort of combination of both, one arm slightly higher than the other. The head is usually slightly lifted so that the eye line looks over the top hand. Arabesque à deux refers to an arabesque croisé where we rotate the back so that your back, or your dos in French, is slightly facing your audience. So there is a slight twist happening here in the torso. Arabesque de côté just means that you are doing an arabesque where you are facing the side. De côté means to the side. So this could be facing stage right or it could be facing stage left, but either way you are profile to your audience. Arabesque en fondu. Fondu means melted, and this is where we bend one leg. So a plie is when we bend both legs, fondu just one leg. So an arabesque en fondu is our normal arabesque where we bend the supporting leg. And of course, this particular arabesque could be done in any of the positions we talked about. First, second, third, or it could even be deux côté, but the en fondu refers to the supporting leg being bent. An arabesque épaulé, you can probably guess we've referred to the shoulders, the épaules, and so an arabesque épaulé has a lengthened feel to it, an opened feel where the front arm might be even slightly wider than normal. So an arabesque épaulé involves again a rotation of the spine, an opening of the shoulders, and the front arm widens slightly. An arabesque penché starts in an arabesque en l'air, so the leg up in the air, and then we tilt forwards, so the upper body and the leg pitch forwards, maintaining the arabesque line, the arabesque shape, and then we bring the upper body up back to our normal arabesque en l'air position. Assemblé refers to a jump, starting where we lift one leg up, we assemble or we gather both legs together in the air in fifth position before we land with both legs together on the floor. An assemblé could be done in all sorts of different directions. It could be done to the front, side, or back. There are lots of different types of assemblés, but the core of an assemblé involves lifting one leg, joining the other to meet it in fifth position in the air, and then landing on both legs. There are lots of different types of assemblés, so let's start off with an assemblé battu. Battu means beaten, so this just involves our normal assemblé but with a beat. So if, for example, we have the right leg front, we're going to lift that leg, beat them in the air or switch them, and land back where we were. An assemblé dessous involves the front leg, so let's have the right leg front, the front leg lifting and closing behind. An assemblé dessus is the opposite. It involves the back leg lifting and closing front. But we could also do an assemblé battu dessous or battu dessus, and so this involves either taking the front leg to the back, dessous, but adding a beat, so we would beat the legs where they are and then change, or an assemblé battu dessus, which is taking the back leg, beating them where they are, and then changing as we land. An assemblé de côté meaning to the side, is a travelling step where we perform our normal assemblé, but we travel sideways as we join the legs together in the air. And of course, this could be performed dessous or dessus. Next, we have assemblé piqué, and you may know this movement as a dessous. This starts in fifth position, followed by a fondu à la seconde, so the foot pointed to the side and the supporting leg bent, and then we join the legs together on demi-point in fifth position. If you start with the front leg going to the side and then finishing behind, this is dessous, and if you start with the back leg going to the side and finishing front, this is dessus. An assemblé soutenu à terre is when we do a circling motion of the working leg round, so a little bit like a rond de jambe, and this can be performed en dedans, which means inwards, so the leg going from the back to the front, or it can be performed en dehors, which is from the front to the back, and it means outwards. You may also know this as assemblé soutenu en fondu, which is essentially the same thing. However, an assemblé soutenu en tournant does refer to a full soutenu. So this is the same thing. We start with a circling motion of the leg, basically a small rond de jambe, either going from the back to the side to the front, or if it's en dehors, front to the side or side to the back. However, once your legs have joined together in fifth position, we then continue into our full soutenu turn, and this is where the en tournant bit comes into action. En tournant in French just means turning. I do just want to add, however, that you may not hear your teacher refer to this as assemblé soutenu en tournant. They might just say assemblé soutenu, but they may demonstrate a full turn. This is just because sometimes with the longer terms, teachers will abbreviate them slightly instead of using the full term every time. Petit assemblé is just a small assemblé. So typically a normal assemblé will be a medium-sized jump, and we do try to jump as high as we can, pushing off one leg, whereas a petit assemblé is done underneath you. It's small and neat. Next we have attitude. Now again, there are so many different types of attitudes, but put simply, an attitude involves the working leg with a bent knee and then rotated, so in a turned out position. We could have this to the front, side or back. Typically, if someone refers to an attitude, they will mean en l'air, so this is off the floor. However, the degree of bend in the leg will vary depending on the method that you're following. Typically, if you follow a Russian method, there will be a longer line, so less of a bend, whereas in the RAD, we will have a slightly shorter bend in the knee. You could also have an attitude à dos, which again is when we're showing épaulement, we're showing the back. You could have an attitude grecque. There are lots of different types. You can actually have an attitude à terre, which confusingly involves the working leg being extended. The only difference is that the arms are in fourth position. So basically, if you have a tendu devant or derrière and your arms are in fourth position, you could refer to this as an attitude à terre. But personally, I do not come across this term at all, really. It's not used. In my experience, if we refer to an attitude, it is en l'air. An attitude grecque just meaning Greek in French, refers to a position of the working leg in cul de pied derrière with the arms in crossed fourth, and the arm corresponding to the working leg is the low arm. Then generally the eye line will be looking down over that arm, so sort of over the elbow or over the forearm. However, I must say, this is a very rare position. I typically just really rarely come across it. In general, if a teacher wants you to adopt this position, they will just describe it as your working leg in cul de pied derrière and your arms in crossed fourth. However, if you want to impress your teacher, you could tell them that you know it's called an attitude grecque. Then you've got attitude opposition, which is an attitude derrière en l'air, and the arms are in fourth. The arm corresponding to the working leg is lifted. Then if you were to switch the arm corresponding to the supporting leg lifted, this is an attitude ordinaire. That concludes this video on RAD terminology with words beginning with A. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video for our B words.